I sent him an
later.
invite
Let's
if he
get
jumps on. Cool. Here, okay.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. All right, everybody, we're back. Let's do this. 3, 2, 1. Take it away, Ben.
Well, first time for everything. We had some major technical difficulties in the middle of a show. If you're listening to this, the podcast, you probably don't know what happened, but the computers went down right in the middle of the show, and I had 3 guests standing by who've been very generous with their time. I'm very appreciative of them putting up with me and our faulty computers. I'm blaming everything on Donald Trump. That's what I've been doing for the last 4 years anyway, and so why not blame this on Donald Trump? Byron, Sigcho, Lopez, Noah Moskowitz, Lamont, Burnett have joined me, housing activists, and alderman from the city of Chicago. We're here to talk about the Affordable Housing Requirement Ordinance, and that's a mouthful to say, but it's a very important ordinance in the city of Chicago. If you're going to have any kind of pretense that we believe in affordability in the city of Chicago, I would make the argument. I'm going to open it up with Noah Moskowitz from One North Side, get his thoughts on this. But I would make the argument that, Noah, that the city is largely dedicated to the notion that what's best for the city of Chicago is gentrification. What's best for the city of Chicago is to essentially move wealthier people in and move poorer people out. But you can't come right out and say that, Noah Moskowitz. You have to sort of pretend like you do believe in affordability and an integrated city. And so I've been watching this for a while, the gamesmanship that goes on. That's my, again, cynical, jaded observation of a longtime journalist, been watching things in the city of Chicago for a long time. Noah, why don't you enlighten me? Perhaps I'm being too jaded and cynical. Do you think in this moment in time, the city really is ready to make a commitment to affordability in the city? Go ahead.
What I'll say to that, and I think, Lamont and Alderman Sigcho Lopez can jump in, is that I'll say I haven't seen anything that would indicate that they're ready to make that commitment or that they're willing to make that commitment. Yeah, what do you think, Lamont?
Lamont, you're on mute.
Yeah, Lamont's on mute. There he goes.
I saw Byron. That's what. Okay. Well, as you know, we've really been trying to negotiate with the mayor on particularly affordable housing in the city of Chicago, and that, I assume she's not listening to what we want. But I think basically we're trying to get mostly like family size units, as well as at the 40% AMI. The mayor wants, I think, 20%. Is that correct?
60% of the AMI.
60% of the AMI. And we feel that family size units should be affordable, because I know that when I was running, when I was at when the Wilson Men's Hotel, I know that I had to pay a higher rent when I left the Wilson Men's Hotel. And say we're trying to get family size units. We're trying to make sure that the mayor listens to us, because we do have our own ordinance. I think would suffice the voters here in the city of Chicago.
So to give context to what Lamont just said, the Wilson Men's Hotel was a 250-unit SRO, affordable, right in the heart of Uptown, right next to the Red Line. And it was one of many SROs and what we call naturally occurring affordable housing buildings, where people are just paying a regular rent, like paying a regular rent to get by in a regular life. And we've lost thousands and thousands of those units all over the city, but especially on the north side in a shockingly short period of time. I don't have the data right in front of me, but the north side of Chicago, like that lakefront area, Rogers Park, Edgewater, Uptown, we're looking at something like 33,500 lost affordable housing units just between 2013 and 2017. And so when we look at why is that happening, we're looking at a lot of different reasons, but we can't ignore the boom of luxury housing developments. And by some estimates, since 2011, Chicago has seen 40,000 new luxury housing units getting built. And when I say that, I'm talking about like a studio for $1,500 a month, a 2-bedroom for like $2,500 a month. Those are the prices we're seeing. So in our, especially in One North Side, but I'm sure in Pilsen as well, and in neighborhoods all over the city, we're seeing an influx of new locations, which are very often not filled for very long periods of time, and we're losing all of our working class community members and our community members of color. And we really need to stop that. We need to trend, and we are doing everything we can to make that happen. And we think there's a lot more that we can be doing as a city, and I'll leave it at that. Do you want to go ahead, Alderman?
Yes, I was going to raise a direct question to Alderman Byron, Sigcho Lopez, 25th Ward, the Pilsen area, Chinatown area. Byron, you were on the Inclusionary Housing Task Force. You're one of the aldermanic co-chairs, along with Walter Burnett at the 27th Ward and Harry Osterman of the 48th Ward. Burnett and Osterman are more or less mayoral allies of Lori Lightfoot. And the fact that you were put on this task force gave me hope that the city was going to be with all the different constituents on this issue, even people who don't agree with the mayor. So I gave her credit for agreeing that you be on this inclusionary housing task force. It was really inclusionary. And here we are on the eve of a city council vote on the ordinance, and it seems as though we have not reached consensus. So how inclusive was the inclusionary housing task force on this issue? Go ahead.
No, and I think that, and thank you, man. I think that's a great question. Indeed, I was one of the co-chairs of the task force that, for many of us, in fact, sent a good signal because we had several members of our coalition as part of the task force. We got a hearing on the subject matter, back at the end of 2019. So it sent a signal that the administration was willing to listen and to bring to the table a compromise. Unfortunately, and we've seen, with the police accountability reform, we see this with other coalitions where the mayor basically breaks, breaks from the coalition, breaks from the conversation to do her own, to bring her own bill. I think that we shouldn't hold our breath in the change of attitude of the administration or the change of hearts. I do think that what we want to make sure is that we hold the administration accountable to what they committed to, which was to reach consensus. I think that we are at the table, at least in the task force members that, Noah and many others who have been brought up extremely well thought out, research-based recommendations that we are seeing being implemented in other cities. What we don't have right now in the city of Chicago is the political willingness to do what's right in terms of housing policy. We cave in to the interests of big developers, developers that put in profit over people in a time of the pandemic where we cannot continue to operate as business as usual. We have seen the economy changing that drastically. We've seen unemployment numbers surging. We have a very difficult situation in terms of housing, a shortage that even the city of Chicago, the Department of Housing has acknowledged 120,000 units of affordable housing that we don't have today. That is what it's going to take. We are presenting, and we have presented a bill that are supposed to serve as the foundation. We have gone a long way. I don't want to discredit that the conversation without the coalition would have been even in a more precarious condition. But I think that right now in the city of Chicago, what we need is to build consensus. The administration time after time has failed to do that. This, a day before the hearing in the housing committee, we are at the table asking for basic consensus, things that are within reach, family-sized affordable housing units that we need to keep families in our neighborhoods, an average median income that does not include a vast majority of working-class residents across the city. We are within reach. Now, at the end of the day, the mayor of the city continues to have the leverage, and we are asking her to do the right thing and listen to the community for a fair compromise. I wouldn't hold my breath, but that's exactly what we are urging city council members, to listen to their constituents, to listen to the research base and good practices in other municipalities, and not to what the developers want to impose.
All right. Noah, I want to bring this to you before we get to Lamont. I want you to clarify something, Noah, that you were doing before we went on air. You're doing a really good job of explaining what exactly people mean when they talk about area median income and how it impacts housing. It gets very confusing because these acronyms get thrown at people, this jargon gets thrown at people, and you folks who are in the housing movement, you know exactly what it means. But I think a lot of just average citizens in the city of Chicago are lost. So why don't you just give that explanation?
Yeah, and I have like a long-standing gripe that my conspiracy theory is that the reason that affordable housing policy is so complicated is like an intentional tool by the sort of like real estate elite to prevent us from doing anything about it. Because it's like I met Lamont when we were organizing against the evictions at Wilson Men's Hotel. And it's like, you know, Lamont's organizing his neighbors to come to a tenant meeting, and they're like, this is messed up. We're all getting put out for no reason. And I'm like, well, right. That's why you need to look at section 5- blah, 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 the blah, blah. And they're like, what? No, dude, we just need to not be homeless. What's the deal here? But you know, to your point, and I think this goes back to what Byron was saying as well. I mean, the Inclusionary Housing Task Force was inclusive. We based our most current iteration of ARO reform. We've been working on it for 3 years. We based our most current iteration on the recommendations of the task force. The Chicago Inclusive Housing Ordinance is based specifically on the recommendations of the report that the Department of Housing wrote based on those task force conversations. And one of those, which the report very clearly put out, was that, you know, most Black and brown households in Chicago cannot afford what's considered an affordable unit under the Affordable Requirements Ordinance. So right now, and in the mayor's current ordinance, they want to average that income for an ARO unit at 60% of the area median income, 60% of AMI. Now, what the hell does that mean? No one should have to know what that means. So I'm going to do my best to explain it. If you get totally lost, I don't know, there's something you can do. You're listening on radio, but maybe you'll find out where I live and you can come yell at me. So basically the federal government says, what is an affordable unit? How do we know if a rental unit is affordable? And what the federal government says, it's affordable if you're paying a third of your rent. Sorry, if you're paying a third of your income on your rent, the total housing cost. Affordable if you're paying a third of your income on your affordable housing costs. Nobody in the United States of America goes around trying to find an apartment thinking about, well, what's my income and then what's a third of that? Mm-hmm. They know what rent they can basically afford and they go looking for it. And the same thing is true for policy. If we want to set affordable rents, we basically know what kinds of rents are affordable. But since the federal government defines it by income, there's this whole cockamamie scheme where you have to figure out, well, how do we set an affordable rent? So if we say spending 30% of your income means that that's an affordable rent, what the federal government says is, well, we have these area median incomes. So the area median income, or AMI, refers to a 6-county area, including Cook County, to say that's the average income. And so if you want to figure out what's affordable, you have to set it as a percentage of that average income. Now the area median income, I'm confusing averages and medians, nobody yell at me. If you're looking at the median income, that's not going to be representative of working class communities or communities of color in Chicago. You know, like because Winnetka's income is getting involved there. Yeah. So they set it at a percentage of the area median income. So they say this rent should be affordable to somebody who makes 60% of the area median income, which means they should only pay a third of their income for that rent. That is all a very complicated, very fancy way of saying that for a studio where the rent is affordable to somebody making 60% of the area median income, you're looking at basically $950 a month. For a 2-bedroom, you're looking at $1,250 a month. So these are certainly more affordable than the luxury units we're seeing getting built everywhere, but they're not affordable for, you know, the people who are getting displaced from our communities. Like Lamont, how much did you pay at Wilson Men's Hotel and how much are you paying now?
Well, at the Wilson Men's Hotel, which was reasonable, I was paying well, it grew in minutes every year, but I was paying like $350 a month. And where I'm at now, I'm paying only $228 a month.
And the Wilson Men's Hotel was not subsidized?
No, it was not subsidized.
Market rate rent.
It was market rate rent.
And now there's obviously a lot of people between what Lamont was paying and those figures I just cited. But the point is when you set your floor at 60% of the area median income, you're excluding hundreds of thousands of Chicagoans. And the data that came out of the ARO task force showed that. I'm going to pull it up here if you guys will give me a second. So the city's ARO task force, their data says the median income of a Black household is $27,713 a month, and the median income of a Latino household is $40,700 a month. The average family size of a Black household is 2.7, and the average family size of a Latino household is 3.7. So when you're setting AMI, you're taking into account income and family size. But when you crunch those numbers, you're looking at the average area median income for a Black and Latino family being between 35 and 40% of the area median income. So it sounds like we're quibbling over peanuts. So why do these crazy activists care about the difference between 40% and 60%? It sounds pretty close. What we're talking about is a reasonable rent for actually the majority of Chicago's population that are those Black and brown households. We're talking about the difference between a two-bedroom for $1,250 a month and a two-bedroom for $950 a month. It's $300, but that $300 makes a world of difference for whether or not families are housed or whether they're not housed. And just one more thing, I know I've been rambling for a while.
Yeah.
I just want to finish this and say, there's not infinite space between our ordinance and the mayor's ordinance. Like Byron said, we've had some really fruitful conversations. Needs to be a requirement for family-sized units. That AMI, as I just explained, needs to be reasonable for the majority of Chicago's households. And one of the things the ARO task force report itself said was we need a nexus study so that we can get a universal density fee. Because right now, only residential developments have to pay for affordable housing in Chicago. Why shouldn't commercial or office developments pay for affordable housing as well? I'll leave it at that. Sorry, Ben, I've been going on for a while.
Lamont, so I think I cut you off. What were you going to say before I cut you off?
Well, I was basically going to say this is that 40% for me is a hit, but it's a reasonable hit. So I'm willing to give up something to make sure that where I live is affordable. And I think the mayor needs to, at least sit down and negotiate with it. And then too, I was going to talk, Noah talked about it, which is the universal fee, which I think is something that the mayor should look at, because that money will go into making sure that affordable housing will be built here in the city of Chicago.
Now, the universal fee has to do. Please explain that, Noah, with the universal. There's another a phrase that people probably don't know. So explain that one as well.
So right now in the ARO, most developers can pay out of most of their affordable unit requirement. It's called an in lieu of fee. So you pay this fee in lieu of actually building the affordable unit. Under the mayor's ordinance, they want to cut that in half. So you can only pay fees for half of the units. That's an improvement, but with the scale and pace of displacement that we're seeing, we think that all these units should be built on site and or near the development. Now, the point that the mayor's office will make, which is a good point, is that those in lieu of fees fund the low-income housing trust fund and fund the affordable housing opportunity fund. So those in lieu of fees pay for important city programs, and we don't want to gut those, not in any way, shape, or form. So that's great. We can have our cake and eat it too in this case. The city of Arlington, Virginia raised $17 million from their density fee in 3 years. Let's bring commercial zoning, let's bring commercial development, let's bring office development, let's bring non-residential development into the affordable housing fee base like other cities do. So then we can have our affordable units on site and continue to pay and even expand these affordable housing programs.
Lamont, I'm going to ask you the question that I posed to Noah earlier. How much support do you believe, you're a lifelong Chicagoan, grew up in Chicago, how much support do you think there exists in the city of Chicago right now to preserve affordable housing?
Well, I can say I think there's a hidden support for affordable housing in the city of Chicago. And we do have support. We do have a lot of support, but I think most of it is hidden support. because I feel that a lot of people need to know how important affordable housing is to have here in the city of Chicago. And again, we have support. We have a lot of support, but we also have what you call hidden support, because a lot of people is not educated about affordable housing here in the city of Chicago. Because a lot of people think they left because they feel like crime and other things, but also they need to understand that one of the main reasons why you left is because you couldn't afford where you lived, and that's one of the main reasons why I say it's a hidden support, because a lot of people are not educated about how important affordable housing is. We need to have here in the city of Chicago to keep that population. And I do know the mayor. I once heard the mayor said that she was trying to bring that population back that she lost. And if she's doing her ordinance, I don't think it would happen.
Well, no, that's part of the reason Lamont and Noah and Byron, I'm so cynical about this, because you just alluded to it, Lamont. The popular, I believe that what Mayor Lori Lightfoot was saying was that she was referring to the exodus of Black people from the city of Chicago that took place for the last 20 years. It's been happening, I mean, this entire century. And it wasn't treated as a quote unquote problem that the city had to address. And that's why I kind of bought into what Chris Kennedy said when he was running for governor back in 2018, let that cat out of the bag, Lamont. And he said something that you're not supposed to say, which is this exodus was created by a policy that was intended to make this exodus. And exactly. So you guys are swimming against the tide when you're trying to force developers will look at you, Lamont and Noah and Byron, and go, are you kidding me? You're asking me to agree to set aside housing in a complex, let's say in Uptown, that will cut the amount of money I can make from my complex? Hey, Lamont.
I think that's a direct quote from a meeting I've been in.
I wasn't even in the meeting. I know what they were saying. And it's like, they go, Lamont, no way. You know what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying? And go ahead.
Yeah, but then you got to also where it started at, where I came from, 53rd and State, which is Robert Taylor. Mm-hmm. That's where the dismantle of the Black population was beginning, when they tore down public housing. That's when it all began, because I lived there. 53rd and State. So that's when the exodus of Black people began, which is at Robert Taylor, when all the the projects was torn down and things like that. We also got to put in the drug war that also did a lot of this, the redlining. So it was a lot of reasoning for the Black exodus. Because I remember when they used to call Chicago the Black Belt, along that expressway. So, and that was because of a lot of the development that they tore down. So.
Yeah, I know. I hear you. And it's been going on really, I mean, full scale since the 90s, since Mayor Daley got in and the plan for transformation, which is what led to the destruction of those units that you alluded to, the Taylor homes, Cabrini Green on the north side of Chicago got knocked down. This is almost ancient history for millennials, Lamont. They don't know about these communities. They don't know about the plan for transformation. All they know is they pick up the paper and as Noah was pointing out, these just exceedingly complicated jargon. That's what it's been reduced to, like a basic human need that you and Noah have been articulating, that people have a right to housing and we should have a city that's integrated ethnically and economically. Exactly. That's what you guys are championing. And it gets reduced to this jargon. And you got like the lawyers and the developers and the mathematicians talking about a percentage of the area median income. And essentially what they're saying is that if you're going to give the green light to some developer to put up a project in Uptown, in Edgewater, in South Shore, wherever, if you're going to give him a zoning change that he needs to put that project up, if you're going to sell him city land that he needs to put that project up, you have to guarantee a certain portion of that project is affordable to people like Lamont Burnett. And so what they do is, here, we'll get into the 30% or the 40%. And they confuse everybody.
Right. Yeah.
Is everybody like, I don't know.
I think a literal piece of the mayor's ordinance currently is 20% of the units in high-income neighborhoods have to be affordable, in quotes, at 60% of the area median income. A third of that 20% has to be affordable at 50% of the area median income, and a sixth of that 20% has to be affordable at 40% of the area median income. So again, I think you're making direct quotes. I don't know how you know what's been going on in all these. You must have read the ordinance. That's literally that's literally what it says.
Yeah, I Noah, to your point, I've been writing about municipal financing in the city of Chicago for a long time, the TIF program in particular. And if you want to get away with any kind of municipal larceny, what you do is you make it so freaking complicated that 9/10 of the public won't understand it, will walk away from it. You can get away with murder. And,
yeah, I do want to be fair. And I mean, this stuff is complicated. There's no question about it. And there's also no question that there are improvements in what's being put forward. But, we can't look at this and say we got a majority of the population that's earning 40% of the AMI in our city that needs family-sized units. And we have to be honest about whether or not that ordinance is going to serve them. So we hope that, the mayor's going to come back to the table and work something out. Although, your cynicism is well received.
But you know what I start doing now?
What?
I don't shop downtown anymore. I stopped shopping downtown. So
what does that have to do with it?
I stopped shopping downtown. So I'm going to find somewhere else in the neighborhood and shop. Maybe then she'll get to listen to us. Maybe, I don't know.
The shopping downtown strategy. Byron, are you still here? You turned off your computer so I can't see you. Byron, so I need to know, what's your sense of where the city council stands on this? Lamont and Noah did a pretty good job of laying out the issue, how it impacts people in the city of Chicago. Now it's being dumped in the laps of the aldermen, and you have a lot of development interests on one hand and the mayor trying to placate them. The Chicago City Council is going to be asked to weigh in. What's your sense of where they're at?
Well, so I think at this point and it's clear that the mayor is trying to push and rush a vote, right, for the housing committee on Thursday. We still and strongly believe that we have a good compromise within reach. I think the coalition has made a very important points of why this is so important that we get right. This is the kind of legislation that is going to be with us for a long time. Talk about, bills that, the last one was at least with us for 6 years. And a lot happened during those 6 years. If we compare this to what happened with the SRO bill, right, and how developers basically target SROs, we lost thousands of affordable housing units, single room occupancy, units during this time. That's what this is so critical, that we have a robust conversation, and we are within reach of a compromise. But the compromise will not happen if the mayor rushed the bill. And you have seen how aggressive she whips votes despite of the rhetoric, right? We've seen what she said to the Block Caucus, how she retaliates and does anything and everything possible. I even have seen, lobbying from different groups coming in to push for this ordinance without an understanding of what we're discussing. At this point, what we're asking is to have a fair compromise. We are within consensus on the average median income and the family-sized units that are critical, but without a compromise, without a consensus that is based on arguments, not based on what's good for developers and the mayor's political ambition, we are going to fail the city of Chicago. So we are right now at the table. I'm urging my colleagues in the Progressive Caucus, in the Latino Caucus, to press the administration to reach this compromise if we want to rush the vote, but let's do it with arguments. We've been working for this for a long time. These are recommendations that come from the inclusionary, and I hope that we do honor by the inclusionary part of the task force, so that we find a bill in front of us that is what the city of Chicago and our small multiple residents deserve, and know what is convenient for developers. I hope that the administration is willing to reach compromise. I wouldn't hold my breath, so that's what we're mobilizing our Progressive Caucus members and any alderman and alderwoman in the city of Chicago who wants to represent their constituents. They have to demand a good bill and nothing that falls short with that. It's within reach. We are hoping that we encourage council members to either encourage the administration to reach a a agreement, a consensus, or delay the conversation until we do so. We are ready to act. We're ready to do what the city needs, but we need the mayor to listen. She doesn't have the track record, but that doesn't stop us from doing the right thing.
All right, we're going to close with this. Noah, what are deadlines that people should keep in their mind on this matter?
So as Alderman Sigcho Lopez just said, tomorrow is the housing committee vote on the mayor's ordinance. If it passes, then it goes to the full city council meeting to be turned into law. And that is a week from today. That's April 21st. So, we've been working on this for 3 years. We've been working on it with the city through the task force for a year and a half. It would be a shame if, like Byron said, we couldn't get to the finish line together on this one.
All right, listen, and I don't want you to think I'm just completely cynical. I have this feeling that you're going to walk away going, God, this is the most cynical guy I've ever. I personally am not a cynical human being. No, I've been doing this for 40 years. I could not continue to do this if I were a cynic. If I didn't believe there was hope that people would do the right thing. But you get a little jaded, Noah Moskowitz, watching how stuff happens in the city of Chicago.
I'm working with Byron, working with Lamont, who've been doing this a lot, been organizing a lot longer than me. It's I have to tamp down my optimism.
All right, very good. That's Noah Moskowitz and Lamont Burnett. Thank you very much. They are from on the north side of Chicago, and Byron Sigcho Lopez, good friend of the show, alderman of the 25th Ward. Thank you very much. And I want to thank all our listeners, man. We put you through some obstacles today. We had a few technical difficulties, first time ever. But it all worked out well. Once again, thank you, Noah Moskowitz. Thank you, Lamont Burnett. Thank you, Byron Sigcho Lopez. I'm Ben Jarofsky. Take care, everybody.
All right. Take care. Bye.